When is the journey more important than the destination? Hi guys, and hello from Bangkok. So over the weekend, I flew to Bangkok for 12 hours to hit the gym, get a nice massage, and also do a mileage run. So what exactly is a mileage run, you may ask? Hello, and welcome to DanFliesTheMile. Now if you're new, my name is Daniel, and I'm an aviation enthusiast. And I love flying on different airlines to experience the best that each of them have to offer. And I'm also a credit card and airline miles strategist, and I love being able to fly on premium products without breaking the bank. So if you want to experience different airlines through my lens, or learn more about airline and credit card miles, do follow and subscribe, and watch out for the next video. So what exactly is a mileage run, you may ask? It's basically where you fly to accumulate airline miles and to also attain airline status. And what are the benefits of these? So there are a few key benefits which I'll highlight. So the first benefit is being able to accumulate those airline miles and points in addition to your credit card miles that you earn, and basically use these miles to redeem it for future flights in premium cabins, for example in first and business class. And this will make future trips much more comfortable and gives you things to look forward to. Now the second key benefit is also being able to get airline status, which is very useful especially when you fly on economy class, for example, where you don't have some of the benefits like lounge access and priority boarding. So there are three key benefits for airline status which I'll highlight. The first of which is priority check-in and boarding, which is very useful because you get to board and check in earlier and skip the long queues which can happen in some airports, and typically often also you get additional baggage allowance. One other key benefit also is priority boarding, which is very helpful especially when you travel only with carry-on luggage. Being able to board early in advance to secure overhead storage compartment space is very helpful so that you don't have to gauge check your bag. The second key benefit is advanced seat selection, which is often very underrated but very helpful because you are able to select seats like the extra legroom seats or even the bulkhead seats for low cost or no cost, which is especially great because it makes your flight much more comfortable and palatable. Now the third key benefit of airline status, and to me this is one of the biggest ones, is basically lounge access. So for example, on this recent flight, so even though I was flying on economy class, I was able to access 4 very nice lounges. So in Singapore, I was able to use the Qantas first class lounge, which has amazing a la carte dining, wines, and the staff there are just simply welcoming and very lovely. Secondly, also in transit in Kuala Lumpur, I was able to access both the Golden Regional Lounge, which is in the main terminal, and also the Platinum Lounge, which is in the satellite terminal. And this comes after taking a private Mercedes transfer between both terminals. So also at the Platinum Lounge, you get a la carte dining, you get a very great environment with nice showers as well, and it's definitely a great way to spend the transit. So finally, here in Bangkok, just before I fly back to Singapore, I'm also able to access the Cafe Lounge, which is where I'm currently at. There's also great food, local dishes like pad thai, and the Cafe Delight, which is delicious. And also later on, I'm going to be going to check out the Japan Airlines lounge. There is also one more lounge here, which is the Oman Air Lounge, which used to be on Priority Pass, which is also a pretty good lounge. But as of late, I think in comparison to the Cafe Lounge and the Japan Airlines lounge, it may not be as spacious, and also in terms of food options, tends to be a bit more limited. Hello from Malaysia Airlines Platinum Lounge in Kuala Lumpur. So for those of you who are potentially keen on doing mileage runs, there are 3 caveats that I will share with you. First, be mindful of the airline alliances. So there are 3 big alliances globally, which is Star Alliance, comprising of airlines like United, Singapore Airlines, Lufthansa, etc. And there is also OneWorld, which comprises of airlines like Cathay Pacific, Japan Airlines, and Malaysia Airlines. And thirdly, you have SkyTeam, which comprises of airlines like Delta, Air France, and KLM, for example. So when you try to attain and renew airline status, just be careful of which airline status you are going for, because typically your benefits only apply when you're flying within the alliance itself. And likewise, when you fly on airlines to accumulate points, typically they only accumulate to airlines within that same alliance. Now, the second caveat is to also be mindful of the type of airline miles that you accumulate. And what do I mean by this? So typically when you fly, you accumulate two types of miles. The first is the traditional miles, which you can use for future flight bookings and redemptions, and this is quite straightforward. The second, which actually goes towards renewal or attainment of airline status, can typically be named in various ways. So for example, on Singapore Airlines, they are known as elite miles, and on Malaysia Airlines, for example, they are known as elite points. So typically, the earning rates for both may differ, and in terms of the value and how they are denominated, they may also differ. So when you're trying to either accumulate airline miles or accumulate points towards renewal or airline status, just be mindful of how they're calculated so that you can achieve enough points to accumulate and attain the kind of status that you want to achieve. Now, my third and final caveat, and this is the one that actually catches most people off guard, is the fact that not all flights accumulate points. And what do I mean by this? So typically when you book an airfare, in the course of the booking or after booking, you will find out that there is a numerical, alphabetical fare class that is tagged to that fare. For example, it could be CDE class or even HIJK class, for example. And typically this correlates to either the type of flight, for example, if it's first, business economy, or second, the fare bucket. So for example, some of these fare buckets are used for promotional fares, which potentially could get you less or even no points at all for those flights. So typically, if you are booking a flight specifically to accumulate airline miles towards renewing or attaining airline status, just be mindful of those fare buckets. And secondly, also in this point related, is to make sure that the airline that you are trying to accumulate those miles with recognizes those fare buckets. So typically when you fly on partner airlines, for example, if I fly on Cathay Pacific, when I try to accumulate these points to, for example, American Airlines or Malaysia Airlines, for those cheaper Cathay Pacific fare buckets, they may not actually accumulate any miles at all on partner airlines, but they may still accumulate points on Cathay Pacific. So it's always important to make sure that the fare bucket they are booking on each airline they are flying on is eligible to accumulate points to the airline that you want to clock those miles with. So yeah, there you have it. These are some of the key benefits of doing a mileage run and getting airline status. So do you think it's something which is useful and helpful? I'm curious to know, and let me know in the comments down below. Cheers guys.